Hello, and welcome to another edition of our Facebook Live Tax Tips Talk. If you have tax questions, we have answers for you. Uh, my name is Samantha Brown. I'm the marketing coordinator here at Stadler and Company, and this is Jordan. Introduce yourself.
Hello, Jordan Moran, enrolled agent, tax resolution expert here.
Today we are going to dive into a pretty big topic. So we're going to split this up over several tax tip live videos because we can't get into everything in one. But today we're going to talk about how owning a business can lead you into tax issues and specifically payroll tax issues. It's one of the most common ways that businesses get into trouble, and it's quite a big topic. So first, can you describe a common situation that you've come across with
Sure.
business owners and payroll taxes?
Sure, I would say the number one issue that we see at our office or that I've encountered is business owners paying their employees, who are generally employees, they're paying them 1099, so they're not withholding taxes for them. The payroll taxes are going to be paid by the contractor there at the end of the year when they file their return. It can be a huge issue because if the IRS looks at that and they see that you have a large number in contract labor and no W-2 or wage income, that can spark an audit. And what happens is they turn all those wages or all those payments, and if it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, they turn that into payroll taxes or payroll, and you have Social Security and Medicare that you have to pay on that. You have to match that. You also may be looking at federal withholding, and you could be looking at penalties of up to 33% on those wages. So that is a huge issue. Like I said, as before, it can lead to audits. Your business can be shut down. We'll talk a little more about that later in the call. And as I said, penalties here with payroll taxes are much larger than income taxes.
And you said 1099 versus W-2. I think that's that can be a whole nother chat, and we'll dig into that a little bit more because there's definitely more that we could talk about with that. I see that Holly has joined us and she shared our video. Thank you, Holly. And Julia is joining us. She's part of our tax resolution team. So thanks for joining us, Julia. And she shared our video. Thank you very much. So you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what else can the IRS do if I owe, if they audit me and decide that I owe back taxes?
Sure. Well, first off, the collection action with payroll taxes is much more aggressive than income taxes. You have to understand that payroll taxes are what we call trust fund taxes. Okay, so the IRS is trusting you, the employer, to withhold federal withholding, Social Security, Medicare on the employee and pay that to the government when it's due. When you don't do that, they're looking at you as basically stealing the money from them. So that's why their collection action is much more rigorous. The timelines to pay the taxes is a lot shorter, and the penalties are probably more than double than what income taxes can be. So one other thing I want to say is the IRS is the utmost aggressive as far as collecting. They have more authority than the President of the United States as far as collecting money. Okay, so it's nothing for them to say, we're going to send you a letter. We will shut your business down, and sometimes it's unannounced. Okay, they'll show up at your business if you owe them enough money and put a lock on your door, tell everybody to leave, and there's not a thing you can do about it.
Wow.
So it's not only an embarrassment there as well. Your employees wondering what's going on, but the reputation there if you've been in business for a long time could be a huge issue there for you.
We're going to take a little break from talking about payroll taxes and mention that if you have any questions, it doesn't have to be about payroll taxes. If you have any tax-related questions, you can put them in the comment box, and if it's not something you want to ask publicly, you can send Jordan an email, and I'll let him give you that email address.
Yep, email is jordan@stadlertax.com. That's JORDAN. You can also go to our website there, www.stadlertax.com. Our website is very easy to navigate there. If you have any questions, you're able to do that. And as I said, email's good there too. Phone call 812-478-2800. I am generally in the office Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
To pop in and
Yep, feel free to come in
too.
if you don't want to do the phone call. A lot of times, if you have a situation like this, you're going to want a face-to-face meeting anyway. It works out a lot better.
Right, and bring all your documents
Right.
and letters in.
Right, and one other thing I want to mention that Samantha and I talked about, don't call the IRS on your own in regards to this to set up a payment plan. Don't let their scare tactics, force you into making a bad decision. If you call them up and you're committing to a payment plan with them, they're going to probably get the most money as possible per month out of you, and maybe not go by some of the laws and the tricks that we know about, that you can pay something that's much more reasonable. So the key is to don't call them on your own. You need to call an enrolled agent, especially if you're dealing with payroll taxes, and you can get into criminal penalties here, not just civil penalties with this. So you definitely want to make sure you deal with someone that knows what they're doing. If you're doing the payroll on your own, we'll get into that here in a second. You must know the law. You're required to know the law. You don't have a pass just because you're doing it on your own.
So saying I didn't know, they don't care.
Nope. Especially with payroll taxes. Like I said, your rights are still there, but they view you as stealing money from them, stealing money from the employee, and that is not good. That gets a lot nastier, a lot quicker.
And usually it's just a matter of time before you get caught.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing about it. It's not going to go away. The IRS does give you time, and they have timelines there, for you to get your items together to resolve the issue, just as income taxes. But they're a lot more stringent.
So this all sounds really scary.
It definitely can be.
So if I'm a business owner and I'm wanting to avoid dealing with payroll penalties and getting in on the bad side of the IRS, what do I need to do?
Well, first thing is when you set your business up, hopefully you're doing that with a person there that is helping you and giving you advice and letting you know the ins and outs of what's going on with the type of entity that you choose. And hopefully that's set up correctly, because the laws are different with a sole proprietorship as opposed to a corporation, S or C Corp, and as opposed to a partnership. So your reports are due at different times. There's reasonable salary requirements that you must meet, and you still have the 1099 versus employee thing there that is the most common error made. So make sure your business is set up correctly. If you do have payroll, you want to make sure you file your quarterly reports timely. Have good record keeping. As I said, if you're doing it on your own and you're using a software, you want to use a reputable software. You want to make sure you know that software. And like I said before, if the software files something late or something doesn't get filed, it's not the software's fault. The IRS doesn't care. It's going to be on you, the employer. And as Samantha mentioned earlier, we talked about earlier, it's not foolproof. Software isn't foolproof there. You can't wholeheartedly rely on that to do things correctly. If you're doing your stuff on your own and you have an accountant that you work with, or you have someone there as far as a contact, bring your stuff in for a quarterly review. Make sure you're doing it right. Make sure everything's getting paid on time. Make sure you're filing stuff when it's due. That is highly recommended. You definitely want to find a payroll specialist in that regard. As I said before, you got to know the law as an employer. You don't have a pass, as I said, because you're doing it on your own. You must know the law, just like filing your tax return. If you sign that return, you sign that quarterly report. It says you sign under penalties of perjury. You better make sure it's right. If it's not right, something's not being paid on time, something's wrong, it's coming back on you. It's not going away. Not trying to scare anybody, but payroll taxes are a lot more stringent and a lot more strict compared to income taxes.
Well, and like you said, there could be criminal penalties.
Yes.
And
right.
Not only can they go after your business, depending on how your business is set up, they could go after your personal belongings and property.
Right. And you don't want to go too deep into that, but if you don't have a separate entity set up as far as a corporation goes, and you owe payroll taxes on a sole proprietorship, your personal assets are not separate from that. They can come after those. Now, so it could turn your life upside down very quickly.
If someone has a question about how their business is set up, or if they have a question about setting up their business, is that something they can come to us?
Sure. Yeah, we can help out. I have a lot of clients that come in and they're Schedule Cs, meaning they're self-employed, and they're not paying their self wages, which is not a requirement in that regard, but they have huge profits. We can incorporate those people into what we call an S corp and severely reduce that profit. Some other tax tips there as far as distributions go. There's other tactics that you
So
can
it's
use.
tax savings.
It is definitely it's all
So
tax
not only
savings.
can we help you avoid payroll issues, but also possibly
Tax savings, exactly.
save you on your taxes.
That's why I said that the number one topic I wanted to talk about there, the easiest way to avoid payroll tax issues or tax issues is to make sure that your business is set up correctly. I think we had Cody join there.
Yeah, Cody has a question because I know where Joe is. Joe is at the North office, managing our North office. He was just popping in last week, so we may have special guests here and there, but for the most part, you're stuck with Jordan.
Yeah, we'll just have Cody on next week for that question you just asked right there. We got Cody on next week as a special guest.
So with that, if you have any questions, we just have a few more minutes before we wrap things up here. So if you have questions, be sure to put them in the comment box or shoot Jordan an email, or you can visit our website. We've got lots of information there as well.
Right.
So next week we'll dig in a little deeper about some things with payroll taxes because it's quite a broad topic.
This is very general what we're talking about.
And then there's also some more tax issues that surround small business owners, and we'll get into those as well in future episodes.
One thing I want to mention is if any of you have a topic that you'd like to hear about or you think may help someone that you know, email that to us, post it here in the comments, and we'll see if we can talk about it there and put something together to help maybe someone out or maybe even help you out. We're certainly willing to do that.
Absolutely, because we definitely want to give information that you need to hear or want to hear in a way that is understandable. Because I feel like that's definitely a big thing that we push here is to make everything plain, no jargon, and a bunch of tax terms that people can't understand. You definitely want to break everything down.
That's the point of these videos.
Absolutely.
To get it out there, to let you know that there are people out there to help. You're not on your own, and just because the IRS of the state says you owe them money doesn't mean you owe them money. So.
Absolutely, and like you said, if you try to handle it yourself, sometimes they can strong arm you into things that you don't.
In most cases, it will cost you more money. If you talk to an IRS agent, or I talk to an IRS agent, first thing I mention is that I'm an enrolled agent, and I'm sure the same goes for anybody who's a CPA. That gives them peace of mind once they know that you have that credential, that they have someone that's going to be professional, they're going to meet the deadlines that are required, and the correct amount of taxes and everything are going to be paid. It's going to be a good meeting there, good partnership. We
have a question here from Sarah and Abby. She wants to know, what is the email address? Can you give that again?
Yeah, the email is Jordan, JORDAN, @stadlertax.com.
And I will go ahead and put it in the comment box here, too.
You can put the website as well if you want.